Hello everyone and welcome to the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series, a brand new venue here in Mount Van Hoevenberg, Lake Placid, upstate New York. We are back on US soil at the head of a very, very exciting 2 weekends worth of racing. There we are, a venue well versed in high-speed sporting pursuits. The Miracle on Ice took place just down the road in the town itself, and the bobsled centre you see on the hillside just alongside. It's a beautiful day to go racing here, 23 degrees Celsius. I am happy and proud to say Ollie Beckinsale, under 23 cross-country Olympic women, just forming up on the start line now, Ollie, and this track is going to be bullet train fast, isn't it?
Super fast. We had a lot of rain a couple of days ago which made a mess of the circuit, but it's dried out a lot now. It's baked and it's going to be super rapid, like you say. Long climb. It's a bit of an old school one. It's big climb up, big descent down.
We talked to Sam Gaze after the Elite Men's short track race earlier on today, and he actually said that there's the odd gust of wind around the back of the circuit as well, which you know, it sort of catches you by surprise. And he said just on the way up the start-finish straight can sort of just halt your process, as we see the UCI cross-country Olympic world champion Isabella Holmgren, the big breakthrough act really of this season. One of them, certainly one of the big ones. Isabella Holmgren, part of the Flying Holmgren family, somebody who will be one of the favourites today, as will this woman. She leads the way in the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup standing. She locked up the short track cross country overall title yesterday. Kira Baum.
Following an unfortunate crash during the UCI World Championships in Zurich.
A minute silence.
Muriel was a talented athlete
for Muriel
with
Ferrer,
a bright future ahead, and her
who tried to be lost to life at the UCI Road Cycling World Championships.
As we begin today's race, let's take a moment to reflect on her life and legacy with a minute of silence in her memory. Our thoughts are with her family, her team, and all who knew her. Thank you. Now, as we carry on with the competition, let's give a round of applause to celebrate the sport we all cherish. This is the best tournament.
There we go, getting ready to go racing then in Mount Van Hoevenberg, Lake Placid. A brand new venue, a brand new track. Here is our start list then. Kira Baum going toe-to-toe with Olivia Onesti, Madigan Monroe, Emily Johnson, Isabella Holmgren, Ginia Kaluri, Valentina Corvi and Ella McPhee are the front row. Then it's Adela Holubova who leads them off the second. Huber, Van Thiel, Halter, Spechna, Schiebler, Finja Lip in there for Ghost Factory Racing as well. Really good start list for both these under-23 cross-country Olympic races, Ollie. We can really see that these big talents are landing on big teams now.
Yeah, the strength in depth this year in men's and women's U23 is epic, and it just shows the quality of the sport and the riders coming through, and there'll be a load of elite riders that are looking over their shoulders, that's for sure.
Exactly. It's Ellen McLean-Howell, number 12 bike, British national champion. Corvi, the Italian national champion for Santa Cruz RockShox Pro Team. Tension building on the start line.
In the next 15 seconds, ladies, watch the lights.
They're under starters' orders. Jordy Maggis ready to press the button and get us underway here this afternoon in Lake Placid, and it is go, go, go. Isabella Holmgren and Kira Baum off to good starts. Holmgren just moving backwards. Look at Valentina Corvi on the rider's right-hand side in the national champions colours of Italy, making a bolt for it up this first climb.
And it was Holmgren who just missed her pedal, and then she got going and then had to stop again just to kind of relocate, clip in and get going. She drifted back maybe 12th, 14th position or so.
But one thing we know about Isabella Holmgren is that she has got serious horsepower.
They missed the first 2 rounds in Brazil, came back and absolutely smashed everyone to bits in Novo Mesto. And
yeah, absolutely devastated her way through the field in Novo Mesto Namaravi. And that was after they'd been at the hands of Akira Baum mauling in the first 2 rounds. She won 4 races in Brazil, the German. And I am really, really impressed with Baum in that, you know, in the face of that onslaught from Holmgren, has managed to lock up the overall title already in the short track and is in good position.
Yeah, mentally it would have taken a lot to have won the 4 races, looked like you were going to be cruising to a title, and then to get an absolute kicking, and then to come back, regroup, and then she had a couple of races where she had to hang in there, but mentally was under a lot of pressure. But the race yesterday you saw, and she celebrated a short track win, beating Holmgren, and that was big, big, big victory. Yeah,
the 2 of them went bar to bar, and the German came out the victor as they get tangled up there just through the double track section. So 94 points the difference. Baum leads the way.
And one of the French champ, Olivier Nesti, in second place, fighting for the overall. She had a bit of a bad, for her, compared to her standard, bad short track, but she's moving up on the outside in the French top. Like this circuit, it's a big, long drag up. Goes up in steps, but there's no kind of big descent for maybe about 4 minutes all the way up to the top section. Then we've started a long, fast downhill. Small technical sections, but generally, well, they tried to emulate the local bobsleigh track, and there's sections like that. They were flowing fast, jumps, berms.
Yeah, and really, really wide the whole way around. Often whenever we see wide climbs like this in cross-country racing, we usually see them paired with bottlenecks that tend to thin the riders out through technical sections. But even the descents here, really, really wide, 3 or 4 riders abreast possible.
Yeah, and there's an opportunity for riders to cause a surprise. So you get some tracks where very single track focused, and even if a lower ranked rider's having a fantastic day, they're at a real handicap to come through. But on this track, like you say, with majority of wide tape sections, it does give the opportunity for someone to cause a surprise and come up from mid-pack.
Yeah, we can see Kira Baum out front there in the red and white jersey, just tucking in behind the rider in the lead at the minute. You see the absolutely stunning fall colours here.
Yeah, and this
upstate New York.
The first little technical section on the climb, little rock slabs. Nothing too difficult in the dry, but just enough to cause some gaps between the riders.
As they head back down, and it's typical of cross-country race tracks, isn't it? You do the hard bit, you do the lung-busting climb, and then you tip downwards, and you can see not much recovery available there as they head up these big log steps. Really familiar to anybody who remembers the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, I find there's nothing worse on a big long climb when you're just getting to a rhythm. Some technical log sections.
Jinya Kaluri out front on the number 6 bike.
Yeah, had a good short track. Coming back through mid-season, was struggling a little bit.
Yeah, best we've seen of her, really, Kaluri. We thought, you know, pre-season she was going to be possibly the rider to beat, but Baum and Holmgren have conquered pretty much all they can see. There's Holmgren in the white jersey with the rainbow bands of the UCI World Champion, just moving out of the traffic past Corvey.
Yeah, Emily Johnson, number 4, and Trek Future Racing as well. Didn't have the best of short tracks again by her standards, and she's just having to work now to get onto the back of that group. Like 7th, 8th position now.
This section, first we've seen of it this weekend, really awkward as well through these big, big rocks.
Yeah, and this marks the top of the first main climb. Then we've got a big fast descent, 1 kick up, and then it's going to be the first time we get to see the woods. And that's probably the most technical section on the circuit.
There is Holmgren making her way through. Right in for Lidl Trek.
You saw Fiona Schiebel coming through as well. Good start for her, 21 plate. So moving well, but it's Anesti not having the best of short tracks and struggling to get back on terms at the moment.
Yeah, it might just be a circuit for Anesti this, maybe, or maybe not enough climbing on it for her, really. She really excels whenever it punches uphill, doesn't she? And
yeah, tiny rider, so the steeper climb, the better.
It's kind of a long, drawn-out climbing course, this, as opposed to a really punchy one that we go to next weekend in Mont Saint-Anne.
Yeah, it is one of the climbs in steps, and it's especially now it's dry. It's more of a power than a power to weight circuit.
Kaluri, though, leads the way at the front of the race. First time we've seen it this season. That is what's tricky about the under-23 ranks, isn't it? That you can have, you can be the champion-elect, really, whenever the big name in this category, which was Sophie Heavy-Pettersson, moves on up into elites, only for 2 younger riders to come in behind her. And we can see Kaluri, really good descender. There's that Red Bull Roots and Rolls section, first we've seen of it.
We saw Isabella Holmgren recovered from that bad start, rolled away up the outside, up into third now. Past Kira Bowman, it's this section that earlier in the week when we had a lot of rain, it was getting really sketchy. Really, there's a line just on this high left.
For Holmgren, I'm guessing the big race is really going to be next weekend in Mont Saint Anne, isn't it, in Quebec?
Yeah.
Home round. There's Kira Bowman, the red and white of the overall points leader. Won Cube Factory Racing's first ever UCI World Cup in Mayapura in the short track at the start of the year. On the big German brands. Happy to get that one.
Yeah, this nice section along here now, just undulating, flowing. It's kind of hard to carry some speed. Looks nice for our cameras, and then we're into then another fast luge section. It's one little small climb first, but it's more of a little kick up and a punch, and then we're into some more technical stuff and it's really fast back down to the start-finish area.
Yeah, that final descent is absolutely pinned. I believe the security staff had to actually escort Josh Carlson away from it during his course preview earlier in the week. He was having that much fun on it.
It's got huge takeoff, big gap jump into rock section. As you come over the rocks, the jump, but then the berm comes not far after it.
Yeah, that fly.
Carlson almost overshot it in preview.
He had to get the landing gear down pronto, but it does. As you run into it, it looks like it's a big old sender, and actually the berm's on-sighted and it's quite close to it. They're all still together at the front, however.
But the rider on the move at the moment for me, Fiona Schubler, 21 on the plate, 17th in the short track, so she's already moving up at speed.
Here we go into that fly-off section. The team here in Lake Placid have done an absolutely superb job at prepping this course. I was out on it the other night and they had those berms covered up under canvases to make sure they didn't get too waterlogged, and then the track really took a pasting on that really wet day of practice we had, and they've got it looking absolutely buff again.
So the riders through over that tunnel. They got a little, and then another short kick of a climb. It's into a rock garden that's not too bad. It's pretty good lines through it, and then into this little rock slab section.
It's a really nibbly little corner, that, isn't it? Because it pitches up at exactly the apex. There's Corvey standing on the pedals, making her way forward again on the Santa Cruz.
Looking super strong at the outside.
Yeah, Valentina Corvey's the real deal. She's turned into one of those UCI World Cup riders that it doesn't matter what the track's doing or what the weather's doing, she's in the mix.
Yeah, I remember the second round back in Arashar, really strong.
Here they go down through the rock section then. Yeah, something hit something else on the way through there. Ella McLean-Highland, 16th currently from the UK.
And we see how, compared to the circuit in Crans-Montana that was probably on the most extreme we've ever had, we come back to a circuit like this one and it's, the bar's been raised a little bit so the riders now can rip through all these sections. But these rock garden sections are the type of ones on lap 1 when you're on it, not too difficult, but it's when you get to the back end, lap 5, you start getting fatigued, that's when they can cause problems.
Yeah, it's the same as downhill, isn't it? Arms get tired towards the end of a run. That's when mistakes can creep in. You can miss a braking spot or miss a corner entry and end up in the dirt.
Like I say, Kaluri and Munro just using their tech skills. Just gapping Holmgren and Baum a little bit.
Over that big rock gap. Really nice section to watch this. Holmgren keeping the wheels on the deck, Corvey clearing the entire rock section. Go on, Valentina.
Like I say, it's a fast-flowing descent, but we could see Corvey then using her tech skills and just able to close a gap.
And that's the thing, we say it all the time across country, don't we? If you're comfortable in the air, if you're comfortable in technical descents, you can recover where other riders are getting...
It's not just about the time, it's about the recovery, exactly as you say.
And they're getting energy back through hitting all those rocks, where if you're comfortable enough on the bike at speed to just pop it over them. As they head through the tunnel.
But this is the best we've seen Corvey. She was one of the riders, had a hard time last year, was kind of second or third, and when the other riders ahead of her moved up into the elite category, it's almost like she was, on paper, the favourite for this season. It just took those first few races just for her to kind of find her feet, really. And
look at Isabella Holmgren has saved her way through the front group. Third wheel now for the UCI cross-country Olympic world champion. And it's worth pointing out as well, I mean, we're in the land of the sport in miracle. The under-23, women's race and the elite women's race, as we look, is she going to take the lead? Let's have a look at the replay. Those races were combined in Palar and Sal Andorra, which is the first time we've seen that. And Holmgren finished 6th in the race overall, taking a lot of elite scalps on her way to that under-23 world title.
yeah, having started deep in the pack.
Yeah, buried.
48th or something on the start line, so to work her way through.
Worth pointing out as well, Onesti came with her.
Yeah.
Onesti had a big ride there as well and took a lot of scalps that day as well. But sitting in third and fourth currently, the two title rivals, behind Ginya Kaluri, Madigan Monroe.
And it's cool seeing Holmgren as well, riding for, again, multi-discipline star, riding for Little Trek and mixing up roads, second at the Women's Tour l'Avenir as well this year. So the the road race world championships are on at the moment in Zurich in Switzerland, and she's a type of rider that would have had a decision of which race to do, and it's great to see her doing the two mountain bike races.
I believe that's Ella McPhee chasing, getting in that aero
see,
position, trying to get
that's the top 15 heading up towards the line, so there's some chunky time gaps already here. Ella McPhee crosses the line in 12th. Emily Johnson just up the road from her. And Sina Fantail, Sophia Waite, Ella McLean-Hoyle's got another place. There's Onesti, the French national champion.
Yeah, and Sophia Waite, one of the most unlucky riders from this year. And the only one I know is unfortunate enough to catch dengue fever from the mosquitoes in the first round in Brazil, second round in Brazil. And
didn't she catch dengue fever and then West Nile as well? Yeah. I think actually Leah Davison told us, she coaches her, and yeah, to be anywhere near a UCI World Cup in the same year that's happened to you, pretty impressive stuff for Sophia Waite. Kaluri going for a different line there. It's lost her some time.
Yeah, that line we saw Kaluri on, it's a lot steeper at the bottom. You have to do a small acceleration to crest it before it flattens out.
It is Holmgren to the front now. The Canadian rider has gone to the front, and we know what that means. Everyone else needs to get this move covered off quite quickly. They need to get organised here. The number 5 bike of Isabella Holmgren powering up this climb. This is a course that will suit her as well, Ollie.
Yeah, and this is a big climb for everybody else as well. So if anyone can crest the top of this with Holmgren, then all of a sudden Holmgren will probably not doubt herself, but it'll give the other riders so much confidence they can follow her. So whether that's doable or not, we'll have to see. But
there's Kira Baum. So just a reminder,
another rider coming through, the German Luisa Daubermann as well.
94 points is the difference between Holmgren and the leader Baum in the overall. So a lot riding on this one. As we look at Fiona Schiebler.
Yeah, doing a cracking ride, moving up from the 20s on the start line.
Not the first time either, Schiebler. She's had some good rides this season.
But Onesti struggling as well. Back to 18th now. But Holmgren, stretching her legs now, flying up this technical section. In answer to the question, could anyone follow her on this climb? And the answer is no way.
Yeah, super, super strong.
It was amazing to see Kira Baum get that win yesterday.
Excuse me, it's 94 points between Baum and Onesti, I should say, at the front of the overall.
Yeah, you're right, there's two races going on. We've got the race for the overall as well as the individual win, and Isabella Holmgren not involved in the overall fight. Like I say, missed the first two races.
Yeah, Holmgren, just to give you an idea, missed those first couple of rounds, but since then has gone first, second, second, first for the season. That woman on your screen now. along with taking some rainbow stripes in amongst the elites. Talk about putting yourself in the shop window as well. I really like that format with the under-23s.
I think it was cool. And it just showed, I mean, the strength in depth, it wasn't just Holmgren as well, but like I say, Anesti as well. All the top 5 women in the U23s had a really good showing up against the elites. And there used to be a period of time when that U23, most riders would take a little bit of a while to get into it, but as that strength in depth in U23, so racing improves, that they're almost flowing straight in, picking up factory deals from day one.
I think it's a wider conversation in mountain bike racing as a whole, isn't it? Because we used to see that in downhill, where junior riders were almost given 3 or 4 years to kind of adjust to the change of pace and putting on a bit more body mass. But riders like Jackson Goldstone, Jordan Williams tore that up, came straight in and won in their junior first year in elites.
So what's going to be interesting now, we've crested that climb. Holmgren's put a gap into everyone else, but it's not a massive gap, and it'll be interesting to see that. I think Kaluri and Munro, whether they can use their descending skills to kind of pin back a little bit. Holmgren's obviously very good on the descents, but it's the climbs when she does the real damage.
Isabella Holmgren, the sister of KMC Ridley's Gunnar Holmgren. Himself very, very talented young cross-country racer, making waves in elites at the minute.
And a twin sister, Ava.
Yep.
Who was 7th at Worlds as well, so unbelievable family. And their parents raced, and here we go, entering the woods again. And this is the section where Kaluri and Munro were just a bit happier to let the brakes off and let the bike run. It's interesting if they can pull that gap back by the time we get back to the start-finish area.
Just keep an eye on that gap. 21 seconds at the top of that climb, and nothing really too challenging in terms of technical descending on this track in Lake Placid. It's really about carrying momentum, carrying speed, and it is slightly damper still in those woods, but traction looking pretty good from here.
It's just this next section as we've dropped around the corner.
Is this a section that took you out the other night?
When I was running a lap, yeah. If I could say it was when I was mountain biking in the wet, then I wouldn't be too ashamed, but I actually fell over running it.
Sorry, I had to ask. Holmgren, then the chase group 16 seconds, so they're making some time back on her. Baum, Kaluri and Munro together. 37 seconds back, Schiebler and Huber. Great shot, that. Absolutely stunning course here at Mount Van Hoevenberg, Lake Placid.
I say earlier in the week, we had so much rain. It was unbelievable on the first day and made a mess of the circuit, but thankfully the sun's come out, it's dried out. I think it makes for better racing.
Really interesting as well, whenever we got that rain, the differences in the approach in terms of how much or how little riders practiced, because it was always predicted to be a really dry, hot weekend, and many just sort of opting to give the mechanics a bit of an easier time of it and just stay warm and healthy and dry.
Yeah, you saw some teams, of course, specialised teams are out in that normal Thursday morning practice session in the rain. They decided to rain in it, where you had the alternative approach. Cannondale Factory Racing decided to completely switch things around and stay off the course till the Friday and let it dry out.
To be fair to them, both of those teams had a pretty good afternoon today. We'll not give any spoilers away, but well worth checking out the highlights from the elite short track races earlier on today as we watch Holmgren pinning her way down through those turns.
The one thing nice, these flowing descents, one thing it does give you is just that little bit of recovery. Whereas you get some descents, if you're dropping into the woods, you're working really hard with your legs as well, so very little recovery on this bit, so it does mean the climb before you can just push that little bit harder.
Again, like a downhiller, Holmgren just very, very good at keeping the bike on the deck, sucking up the impacts with her legs. Let's have a look at how far the chasing pack is off now.
Madigan Munro sitting second, doing a good race at the moment, sitting third overall. So she'll have Olivia Anesti in her sights as well. She's got a good gap at the moment. So a good opportunity to pull back a lot of points for that second overall.
Holmgren leads the way, and then 24 seconds is the gap, and it's Kira Baum, Munro, Kaluri all together here. Baum in the red and white of the overall points leader. And I can tell you, second in that particular race on Nesti's 14th currently.
But Monroe looking strong. You could see it. She came out that swoop and bend, changed down through the gears, accelerating in the saddle, which is always a good sign that someone's got good strength.
Madigan Monroe riding in the Pan American Champs jersey also. We know heavily involved with that NICA program. Oh,
Can you
Kira
see
Baum.
the difference on the descent of Monroe? Strong in the upper body, right line. Kira Baum just bumbling through it a little bit. Same on the first lap.
And through those rocks, speed is your friend. You need to just get them done with, get over them.
Yeah, in that second section, you just see that slight difference. Monroe, super strong, powerful, pushing through. Kira Baum just backing off a little bit, losing a couple of meters.
So let's just keep an eye on how things are shaping up. A minute cover the top 11. But we have seen this year. Isabella Holmgren can do the damage over a couple of laps and then just balance the lead absolutely perfectly. And she will have a bit of fire in the belly after that defeat to Kira Baum in the short track.
That would have been a shock. She hasn't lost for a while, so. But Monroe's so good on these descents.
Oh. Junior Kaluri getting a big front wheel bobble there. Just tagged a rock on landing. As we look at your race leader now, Isabella Holmgren.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I think last year's Junior World Champs, only first year under 23, so a few more years in this category. And
it felt fitting, didn't it, at the race where we bid farewell to Pauline Ferrand-Prévot on a cross-country mountain bike. She's off to focus on the road career. We had a performance like that from Isabella Holmgren and sort of announced her arrival.
Yeah, it was cool as well. Olivia and Esty got to race in the same races. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot as well, and you could see them at the end with Luana Lecomte.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a changing of the guard.
Lecomte, though, still very, very young. Plenty more years ahead of her. And there is a visual on the gap, and it looks like Monroe is building her own little margin back to Kira Baum. She seems to be able to extend that on those descents. 25 seconds the gap so far then to the leader of the race. On your screen now.
I think it's really useful, like I say, with the French, with it's like an SD having Lecomte to ride Worlds with, and I think if you're a U23 rider, to have a really strong, experienced elite racer to room with, to practice laps with, to be a teammate.
Just to learn how to be a pro.
Yeah, makes such a big difference.
Well, on to lap 3 out of 5 for Isabella Holmgren. No problem so far. She is very, we talked about this before, she is very Pauline Ferrand-Prévot-like in that there's no movement that is taking any efficiency away from the forward momentum. She's just solid on the bike.
You get some riders that you say, look, they're born on a bike. She's one of them, and they're rare. They're not fighting the bike at all. It's not, they might be physically an amazing athlete, but like you say, it's not so fluid.
But this one,
I remember
gap as well on this chasing trio. Here is the pack behind them. There is Simona Spetsna. Really, really good short track race from Spetsna. Liller Knight, Emily Johnson is in this group, as well as Dauberman, Schiebler, Corvey.
Yeah, it's a strong group. Huber as well. In the upside down 13 board. Like, really strong group, this one. And hopefully there's a bit of synergy as well. I mean, it's this sort of climb where the worst thing you can have is to be on your own. No man's land, kind of drifting in 6th or 7th and
alone with your own thoughts.
Yeah, whereas normally dark ones.
Yeah.
Whereas now you've got a group of 6 or 7 and you can just keep pushing on a little bit. You might have a little bad patch, but then someone comes around you and takes it on.
It's a bit of a bobble in the middle of the rocks for a couple of riders.
It's interesting, this one as well. The rock section in the short track XCC, they took it in the other direction.
Yeah.
And it's caused a bit of chaos in some of those races.
Well, it's that thing, you can just end up having someone else's crash, can't you?
Yeah.
For no fault of your own.
Yeah, we definitely saw that in the XCC and the women's race as well, where also as well, when you come into that, the riders, if you're in a big group, the first rider hits it and it loses some momentum, and the tendency is people riding into the back of each other and braking when they shouldn't be. Looking pretty smart with the World Champs bike.
Yeah, We interviewed Evie Richards earlier in the weekend. There was a bit of needle that she hadn't received a World Champ spike. Isabella Holmgren's got one. I'd say they'll sort Evie out for Mont Saint Anne. Chase group 39 seconds now back off Holmgren. And yeah, if you could tailor make a cross-country racetrack for this young woman, this is probably it.
Long, hard, 4 to 5 minute climb. Mostly smooth, fast descent.
Yeah. And so, if you're Ciara Baum, what are the tactics here? Are you getting updates on Onesti? Are you knowing that this is actually good for the title? Onesti now currently in 15th, so moving backwards slightly, 1 minute 40 off the lead off the race. So I'm guessing if you're Ciara Baum, a podium's...
Yeah, I think having won yesterday in the short track, even though I say only the short track race, but this is the bigger race, and it's having got a victory yesterday, I think her back would have been up that she could maybe take it to Holmgren, but I think maybe lap 2 straight away you'd realise actually you were racing for your overall today. And be happy here in this group. Stay away from Onesti, get some points, use Kaluri. Kaluri needs a really good result, so you can use her to get a slipstream, get some pacing off her. You see how strong Holmgren is, just accelerating between the logs. Carrying
really
speed, carrying momentum, just looks so comfortable on the climbs.
Really neat and tidy. I was just about to say that.
But like I say, you've got Ciara Baum as well, but I think this is a really good situation for Madigan Munro. She's going to take at the moment a lot of time. Onesti is, if you look at the live timing, all the way back in 15th at the moment. So this is looking really good for Munro.
Ciara Baum moves to the front of this little group then. Maybe has just decided that attacking at the top of this climb might be worthwhile.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a bit of yo-yoing this. I think Ciara Baum is strong on the climbs, but on the descents he's good, but not quite as good as some of the other racers. And
yeah, Munro's looked like the star of this trio, hasn't she, on the descent so far, really. And this is actually... this is looking really good for the rest of our races here in Lake Placid, and the track seems to be balancing this one out nicely. 43 seconds now, the gap between first and second.
But like I say, it's been a while since we've had a track with such a long climb in one hit. You know, if you look at something, one of the harder tracks, something like Leger, it's maybe 2-3 minute, maybe 4 minute push climbs.
47
one long
seconds,
big one.
The gap. Yeah, where we go to Mont Saint Anne next weekend, a lot of very steep, punchy, soft ground into really, really technical descent. So a very, very different kettle of fish. And as the old downhill adage goes, there's only one thing that's guaranteed in life, it's that it'll rain in Mont Saint Anne.
Yeah, and I think it's quite nice that we've got this difference between this week's circuit and next week's.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's
I like that.
It's a world championship, isn't it? Every round has been different. Every circuit has been different this year. There's been some classics mixed in with some new tracks. Crans-Montana in here. Again, very, very different tracks. Crans-Montana, extremely technical. And what weather we had there. I'm still wet from that.
That gap going out now. 51 seconds from Holmgren to Baum.
Yeah, Holmgren really inflicting some pain here. Heading towards the magic minute.
And then behind that group of three, Emily Johnson leading the charge. Closing up to 25 seconds now. So,
and I really actually think this is one of the more ominous things about Isabella Holmgren's skill set, is that cross-country racing, it's a very difficult sport when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Just to meter out the efforts and just to pace yourself. And it seems to be something that she excels at already at 19.
Yeah. Like I say, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, they can just lock into this effort, poker face, and just bang out 5 really fast practice laps. That's what it looks like.
You almost remove yourself from the race itself, don't you?
Yeah.
And just the lap deltas you need to hit, go out, hit those, and if no one else can go as fast, then you get the win.
And going back to, you referred to the World Champs result when she rode through and to 6th position as an end position. That would give you so much motivation for the future that you're capable of doing it, and she can win these under 23 races, but knowing that the next step is taking on the elites.
And we see her cool, calm and collected. Her rivals chasing on the background.
But like I say, looks so smooth, fluid on the bike, carrying good speed, relaxed on the descent. And that's one of the luxuries of having she said she's got a 50-second gap. So that does give you the luxury of being able to take the descents at your own speed and be relaxed and carry the momentum. It's all about getting that weight through your feet, light upper body.
This part of the world, of course, did produce one of the most successful elite women in terms of UCI World Cup wins, Juliana Furtado from New York State. Held that wins record despite her mountain bike career only really lasting 6 seasons before being bettered eventually by Gunnerita Dalla Fleischer. She was inducted into the Mountain Bike Hall of Fame in 1993, a proud New Yorker. She remains, this is a great bit of mountain bike pub trivia, you ready? What is Julia Furtado's biggest claim to fame? And don't look at my notes.
Her sister Nelly.
Sadly not Nelly Furtado. No, she remains the only rider in history to win a cross country and a downhill UCI World.
Get out.
Yep.
That's a good fact.
That is a good fact, isn't it? I'm happy with that one. Might roll that one out again tomorrow, see if anyone notices. So Holmgren's fastest lap, we've just been told by producer Pete, is 35 seconds faster than the chasing pack.
Whoa.
And that is Bohm who has that second fastest gap. So the stats are flying here. Times are dropping. 54 seconds now, the gap between Isabella Holmgren, Ginia Kaluri in second place. Be good to see if Kaluri, the rider in the green on your screen now, can get herself home to a podium.
Yeah, that would be cool. But you can see this group, they've got a really good thing going on at the moment. They've got all hitting the front at certain times. And they definitely have that synergy of a group and they're moving forward. And then I think whether they've communicated amongst themselves or it's just a bit subconscious, but if they can all work together and not trip each other up, they can stay away from that big group that's only about 25, 30 seconds behind.
I mean, we say that Ginia Kaluri's been kind of, I don't know, slightly off the boil this season. She's not finished outside the top 10 since Arisha, the second round. So, I mean, it's been a good year. It's just, as you say, she was the queen-elect, really, wasn't she, at the end of last season, whenever those in front of her moved up a ranking. But really, Bohm and Holmgren entering the fray has kind of stymied her progress slightly.
Yeah, we had, like I say, Sophia Pedersen as well was pretty much winning every race. Samara Maxwell coming in later of the season, winning worlds, and then both with those riders moving up through, it was kind of thinking, well, Ginia Kaluri is the next world champ, and these riders just leapfrogged her. Kira Bohm coming in at the start of the season in his first 2 races in Brazil was head and shoulders above everybody.
Sophie Heavy Pedersen, it really is worth remembering how she blew everyone away at the start of that season. Some very early morning difficult sets of commentaries for Bart and I in the booth. Such was her dominance over this field. But at what point, Ollie, if you're in a group like this, does it turn from helping each other to a breakaway?
Last lap,
yeah. Unless they've all gone. It's just you.
No, when you're all together like this and you know that Holmgren, barring a disaster, has got this in the bag, and then there's a big group behind you with some really talented riders, you're just thinking, right, we're going to not trip each other up, be nice, and then just wait and have a last lap scrap.
Look, it is a minute and 1 second, so she has crested the minute mark. But it is my duty, and we always pointed out cross-country mountain biking, one crash, one flat tyre in the wrong place, and that minute lead will absolutely evaporate. It's a cruel sport. It doesn't ever respect reputations. But so far, so good. Isabella Holmgren, 2 to go.
So a question for you. World Championship Trek, the Cannondale of Helen Hatherley and Koretsky's Specialised World's Paints job. Which is your favourite?
Ooh. You sprung that on me and you've taken me by surprise. I'm going to go with Haverley's Cannondale because of the lefty Ocho fork, and they've got the rainbow stripes on the top crown of the fork. And
I'm going with Javeli's Cannondellas too, yeah.
I'm about the deets, me. I'm about the details, and that bike is covered in them.
There is some cool cube bikes knocking around as well. They did some really cool paint jobs at the games.
Yeah, the cube bikes always have been nice looking vessels. I do like the silver Trek of Monroe as well. I do think that's a classy look. I think that's a proper race bike silver.
Yeah.
Like down a trail centre on a Saturday morning, you're going to be doing well to pull that off. But on a racetrack, pretty cool.
So yeah, 2 laps ago, that's the right time. It's going to be an hour or so. So there's a good chance that you still need to take some carbohydrate on, some sugars. So see the riders, carbohydrate drink or grabbing an energy gel. Now's the time.
Well, I can tell you, Holmgren has got back to the task in hand. It's now 1 minute and 12 out the front. So we're heading towards the biggest winning margin of the year as he scrambles to find out what her winning margin was in Nova Mesto. That was chunky as well.
Here we got the third group working well together. Corvey leading that one through.
Yeah, so she won by 2 minutes 3 seconds, according to my notes, in Nova Mesto Namarave.
That was one hell of a race.
That was absolutely monstrous from Isabella Holmgren. I think she had the tracksuit on,
and for
the bike in the back of the van.
Well, for the other racers, you've just done the first 2 rounds. She is junior world champion, but people forget that very quickly. At the first couple of races, she's not there, and then rocks up, goes flying past everyone, puts 2 minutes.
I just remember as well the look on Kira Boehm's face at the finish. Boehm finished 6th in that race after being undefeated so far this season, and just had that look of, as you say, it was going to be podiums and champagne for the rest of the year and then up into elites, and all of a sudden this rider turned up and put 2 minutes onto everyone and never looked like she was doing it, if I'm honest. Just any shot we saw on her, much like today, just tipping over a gear.
And that chase group 2, Corvey, McPhee, Schreiber doing a cracking ride, Johnson, Huber, Spechner doing an amazing short track.
Yeah,
career best from 18th on the grid, finishing 3rd.
She's ridden her way into this season, hasn't she, Spetsna? Really, really impressive.
A bit further back now, Ellen McLean-Howell coming through start-finish. Sitting for 11th. She's just got on the back of Louis de Durberman.
You can see the gold fork on the front of Ginia Kaluri's bike, celebrating 50 years of Fox suspension.
But you see the difference between, if you look at Holmgren up here, the speed she's hitting this log's just flying up them. If you compare this in a minute's time to the other riders, a bit more laboured, don't have that momentum. Ideally with these ones, between every log, you just accelerate again to carry a bit more momentum, but it's easier said than done.
It's crucial as well that you hit the next log with your crank in the right position to get the back wheel up and over it as well. I reckon we could get Carlson up the top of the climb. He's probably got time to stop Isabella Holmgren for an interview. Then she could crack on again. That Trek Super Caliber, lovely looking bike as well. Rear suspension unit built into the top tube and flex stays, so no pivots. Again, proper race bike.
Yeah, slightly short to travel. I think we're at about 80-90 mil on those ones, and whereas some of the other bikes running up to 120 with the cross country. The Scott Sparks 120 mil.
It's a big bike, isn't it? For what would have been considered a big bike for cross country, but such is the speed. We saw that in the short track earlier. The speeds of modern cross country races, they need all that suspension travel. The amount that the wheel can move up and down, up and over obstacles.
Cron Montana?
Yeah, Cron Montana. You needed every millimetre a mechanic could get you. St. Anne as well, I always think is like that as well. You use every ounce of performance a bike can serve up over one lap.
I think Mont Saint Anne, where we are next weekend, that's that real test of man and machine. It's such a hard circuit.
It is a bike breaker. It's a person breaker as well, to be honest with you.
Been there.
We'll talk more about the Ollie Beckinsale Memorial Stump next week. Still there. As we look at this chasing trio. Kira Boehm looking comfortable at the front of it. on SD, 14th, so she's got 1 spot back, but given that there's just over 90 points between them in the overall, it's looking good for Baum here.
And Monroe.
And Monroe, true that.
Like I say, Monroe was sitting 3rd overall, 583 points, and SD 634, so she's going to make at the moment, a big chunk into that.
Monroe has been fits and starts slightly this season, but a rider who's really well touted has won the next big names, has the support of Trek. She was 10th at the UCI Under-23 Cross-Country Olympic World Championships in Palar and Sal Andorra as we jump on board the drone behind the leader, Isabella Holmgren. The lead 1 minute 19 now.
Yeah, she's got the luxury now of just flowing through these descents. No panic. She's got clear sight as well.
121 actually, excuse me. Should be going some to get the 2 minute gap, but it's not impossible. Big crowd expected here tomorrow for the elite cross-country Olympic races. There's Onesti, 2nd in the World Cup overall title currently on the Trinks bike.
He's come past Doberman now, so up to 13th position, but not having a great day.
We kept seeing Onesti on the hardtail at the start of the season. I can't believe she's not on it here actually. She is a rider who favours that lack of rear suspension, but
I remember me and you looking at Arasha round 2, which if you didn't watch it was that was a tough track, and an SD was there, hardtail, rigid seat post, dead sailors everywhere.
Yeah, that was I don't think there are many mountain bikers who could have taken that course on a hardtail with
it was impressive.
A rigid post.
Managed to buy herself a dropper.
Yeah.
Maybe with the prize money.
I actually think she's on a rigid post, I think, on a full sauce bike, so
we might see that tomorrow.
Sam Gaze, Lucas Schwarzbar favour that from time to time.
Blevin sometimes won the World Cup at the first round.
What would you rather have? A full suspension bike with a solid post or a hardtail with a dropper?
I've asked that question to myself a few times, and it would be a dropper.
I'd go dropper.
I'd have a dropper, yeah.
Because I could still crash a full suspension bike really well with a solid seat post. Yep, the dropper seat post, just being able to drop the saddle down into the frame, get out of your way on descents.
And we were seeing today in the short track, so whatever bike they race in the short track, they have to start in the Sunday's race or the XCO race. Kate Courtney on Scott Scale, so on the hardtail. In the XC, that's tomorrow. She'll be on the newer Scott Scale.
That thing will weigh about the same as a bag of crisps, won't it?
100%.
Courtney on a really light hardtail here tomorrow could be really dangerous, you know. She's looking good. Now that she hangs out with Tom Cruise as well, bit of extra impetus involved in the some of the opening promos for the LA Olympics. Look at how big the gap is. Isabella Holmgren now heading up the next climb after the one her rivals are on.
That'd be good for morale. You're a loop ahead.
Oh, you'd love to see that, yeah. Emily Johnson's 151 back in 6th, so she is still extending here.
But Holmgren, I know her big strength's the climb, but on the descent she's good. You know, you kind of get these, quite often it's the really strong climbers quite often being poorer descenders. Upper body's not quite so strong, and
she descends much like she climbs in that it's very controlled. There's no overt risk
but she's a better descender, for example. Similar on the climbs, but a better descender than Kira Baum. You see Baum a bit more rigid on the descents. The rocks take more impact.
Once you start to tense those arm muscles up and leave yourself open to the deflections and the impacts coming through the bike.
And it's interesting, you compare the builds. You do get some riders on. I come from the Kira Baum Holmgren, no upper body school, and it just means the descent is all cool, but when you get a big rock garden and you go a bit offline, you don't quite have that bench press power to hold it up.
You say that as if I don't come from the same school. Kira Baum leading the way then. Madigan Monroe in the black and white of the Pan American champ behind her. 119 it's still showing on the screens, but I think it could be a bit more than that once we get an update.
Yeah, you see Kira Baum coming through here, just gets bounced around a bit more by the rocks, and
Yeah,
Madam Gunman go all over the back of her.
121 official, so 9th place has now gone to 2 minutes out. Fiona Schibler. Taking nothing away from Corvey or Schibler. Still really, really good rides. You are just faced with the irresistible force at the front of this ride.
And that second chasing group just starting to split up a little bit now, and it's actually
little pass.
Ellen McPhee just coming through now.
There's Corvey. So 122 is the most recent update official on that gap. It's 152 back to the second group, composed of McPhee, Huber, Johnston, Corvey, Schibler, 2 minutes back in 9th.
And Huber doing a good ride, Trek Future Racing. Her best result so far this year was 9th in round 2, so at the moment on track for a PB. And that Trek Future Racing team doing a cracking job.
Yep, missing their star player this weekend, and Bjorn Riley out with illness. There's a few of the American riders just suffering from a bit of illness. Riley Amos as well, and Hayley Batten with that concussion that's taken her out of contention this weekend. They'd be absolutely devastated to miss their home round, Ollie.
Yeah, you'd be gutted. Hayley Batten as well, we hear, not starting. Didn't start today, not starting tomorrow. With
Here we go, bell lap, Isabella Holmgren.
Thanks for Isabella Holmgren. Excited, she has 1 lap to go.
it's a fast lap round here.
It's a fast
whipping
lap.
through in under 12 minutes.
Lap times, let's just give you an update on that. So Isabella Holmgren's fastest lap, lap 2, 11:24. Second fastest, Kira Baum, 11:59.8 on the same lap, so 35 seconds of difference.
And that's where the damage was done. That second lap, she hit the front. And now she can just go into TT mode. And
that's it again, though. She's got the depths of power and talent to... I mean, you know, she wasn't that first half a lap. She was 8 for 9th and didn't panic. She missed the pedal off the start, and she knows that she's got time to work her way through. Monroe moving forward now. So let's see if your prediction's right, Ollie, and are these three going to go to war on the last lap?
yeah, I think we'll see on this climb. Not necessarily, it's such a long climb, you don't necessarily attack, but if you've got the legs, you just want to squeeze a little bit. Kira Baum will know that she hasn't got the beating of the other two on the descent, so she's got to get a gap on that big climb.
Monroe to the frontalist trio.
To Madigan, because if she gets too close to me, we only have a couple more races to go next weekend.
As they take the bell, it is going to be the overall points leader, Kira Baum.
You're just starting to see now, they are starting to think about racing for that second place. It's going to get a bit cagey, and once you get onto the steeper sections, I think we'll see Kira Baum make the break for it. But they're coming back quick, this second group.
1:32 the distance between the race leader, Isabella Holmgren, and the overall points leader, Kira Baum. Olivia Nesty currently in 13th place.
And it's Ellen McPhee, Pivot Cycles rider from Canada at the front, just pushing hard again. At the moment, if she can stay where she is, that again will be a season PB for her.
So there's 11 points up for grabs for 13th position. Excuse me, ignore that. That was in the short track. Just doing some mental arithmetic on what this will mean for the overall. Should things end up the way they stand at the minute,
A little further back, 12th position, Helen McLean-Howell. 13th, Olivia Anesti.
Yeah, 48
second
points.
overall.
48 points for 13th place, so unlikely that this one will be locked up as we head to Mont Saint Anne.
Here we go, we talked about that fight kicking off. It's Kaluri putting the pressure on. She must have looked behind and seen this chasing group coming strong.
Yep, Kaluri on the move here, and she's broken that group from a group of 3 down into a group of 2 already. And that chasing pack is going to swallow Madigan Munro up.
Munro just swinging a little bit.
She needs to stabilise here and stay in front of this group behind her, because there are some big names in there.
We know Madigan Munro super strong on that descent, but still a big climb left to go. So
you can see the suspension locked out. No movement for maximum efficiency.
So it's Ellen McPhee, Canadian, chasing that second group. Best position this so far for this year, 8th in round 6. So had some form in Leger.
It's currently Ginia Kaluri then, second place ahead of the series. Overall points leader, Kira Baum. Tortuously long climbs here in Lake Placid.
And I say about four minutes or so, 4:30, and that's a long time. And if you get a bad patch or you haven't quite paced it properly, you can hemorrhage a lot of time.
And this section where you've just got to pick your way neatly through these rocks at the very top of the climb, maximum effort. Really hard work.
That's it, the top of the main climb. There's a fast descent, bit of time for recovery.
And here we go. Kira Baum looks like she's reacted to that attack from Ginia Kaluri, and maybe has just got word that that group is closing in behind them and realises she needs to get a move on here. This one is not over yet. 1 minute 27 back now, so they have brought time back because they've had to get a wriggle on. Yeah, Madigan Munro's been dropped quite quickly here, and is now only 7 seconds ahead of that chasing group 3.
Yeah, and this will be a Kira Baum, one big effort to the top now. And even behind it, that chase group starting to split. Ellen McPhee,
really good ride.
Really going for it.
Big ride from Ella McPhee. Behind McPhee, Emily Johnson, you can see on the right hand side there, who's doing battle with Leah Hubert just in front of her. As we drop into this descent behind the UCI World Champion again.
Yeah, and Holmgren will be happy. This is the most techie section. She'll be chuffed to bits if she can just tick this one off.
.130 the gap now, so Holmgren, I mean, it's still a 90-second gap, but maybe just well, this is why you build gaps, Ollie, isn't it? So that these late race attacks, you've got a buffer.
There you go, contact made. Feed just getting on the back of Munro, but Munro has got to the top of the climb, and if you can now using her descending skills.
Yeah, Ella McPhee.
That's good work by Munro. Nearly just keep her held off.
Nearly getting tangled up in the back wheel.
And Kira Baum, that pressure's worked. She's got the gap over Kaluri.
Kira Baum's pulled the pin now and has decided this is her chance to go and grab as many points from a difficult situation as she can. She had the better of Isabella Holmgren yesterday. Today it's been all about the Canadian, but Kira Baum has got bigger fish to fry in terms of the overall points lead. Clever riding from Baum.
Yeah, really smart. Working with that group, thinking actually second's the best I'm going to get from today, so you have a quick change of plan.
Straight down the middle through this Red Bull Roots and Rules section. And cuts right.
Kira Baum, I think last year under 23, so heading up into the elites for proper next year. And you can see straight on Munro just managing now to open up a gap back again to Ellen McPhee.
McPhee went for that little gap off the rock, which looks spectacular, but mightn't be faster. And Munro putting some clear air between the two of them. Another 2 seconds have disappeared from Isabella Holmgren's lead, but she's still got 1 minute 28 in her back pocket.
So I will move to the chasers.
There she is, Isabella Holmgren.
So this is it, the last little climb up. And then it's pretty much descent to the finish area. But you see how dry it's getting now, just those 2 lines baked in.
Yep, track looking really good, really good ahead of tomorrow's elite level cross-country Olympic racing.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Just one more round to go after this one in 2024. Titles will be decided in Mont-Saint-Anne. Looks like Isabella Holmgren just anchored up a wee bit there and just decided that discretion was a better part of valor through the rocks. Need to get the bike home safe and sound, and we have seen late punctures in cross-country racing. With riders pushing really hard on the last lap and just making silly mistakes. Doesn't take much.
Holmgren on a cruise now, she's got this one in the bag.
Boom, over that fly off. Plenty of support for the UCI World Cup overall points leader. Behind her, it's still Junior Kaluri in third, Dennis Munro in fourth, McPhee's in fifth currently. We haven't had a visual on that Munro-McPhee battle. There's Kaluri.
Yeah, Kaluri having a cracking race today.
And there is Munro, so this one
all coming back together.
Gonna come back together on the last lap here in Lake Placid, New York.
And Munro recovering well. She can hold off McPhee on this climb. She's got a good chance of... It's amazing how that's all come back together on that descent.
Yeah, big gaps left, right and centre throughout the race, and Kira Baum picks her way through the rocks.
That's the best she's ridden it yet.
Yeah, not a bad time to do it on the last lap. Kaluri through them cleanly. You can see Munro slightly wider line. And McPhee trying to not let Madigan Munro's trek disappear out of view.
You can see Munro flying through. McPhee just a bit tighter in the upper body. Getting bounced about a bit.
This woman, though, has been absolutely electric today. Isabella Holmgren did the damage on that second lap. And then from there on, just put more and more time into the gap behind her. Absolutely superb riding from Isabella Holmgren. She's heading for her 6th win at the UCI World Cup this season to back up those UCI World Champion stripes. What a display from Isabella Holmgren. One of the stars of this sport already, not just in the future. Holmgren crosses a line, 2nd in the short track, and the win in the cross-country Olympic. The UCI World Champion, untouchable in Lake Placid. As we await the battle behind her, Kira Baum, the series leader. But look, it's Munro and Kaluri going bar to bar behind her.
That's an amazing recovery from Munro. Looking like she was going to get dispatched and caught for 5th, but coming back.
Munro, looks like Junior Kaluri has just blown on the last lap, and Madigan Munro has managed to just steal a march and get away from...
That's a scrappy,
Ella McPhee
scrappy
as well.
performance, that.
That is a scrappy performance, and that is why she is so highly rated. Her 2nd place. Roared on by the American fans. They will be absolutely loving this display of grit and tenacity. Is Junior Kaluri going to spoil the party for Villiers Vittoria? Here they come on the start-finish straight. Kira Baum, the series overall points leader, looks over her shoulder. Points in the bank, not the win. But a pretty good day at the office for the German star. Behind her, though, it's going to be a sprint between Monroe and Junior Kaluri. Cross the line, Kaluri takes it. Absolutely nothing in that one. Ella McPhee is and should well be happy with that one.
Some great racing there.
Yeah, really came alive on the last lap,
and that
didn't
tenacity
it?
not to give up. You know, Monroe got dropped in the...
Who will take it?
Leah Huber crosses the line. Just outside the top 5 for Huber. Corvey home in 7th.
Valentina Corby wrapping up a phenomenal day on the bike.
There's Emily Johnson.
7th place.
Trek
Emily
Future
Johnson
Racing.
brings it home for Trek Future Racing in 8th.
What a last half a lap or so.
It just shows that ability.
Any day in a world.
Don't mentally drop, keep going. I thought Monroe was done, and to fight back and end up having a sprint for 3rd. And I think she might have narrowly lost it, but
massive ride from Madigan Monroe. Kaluri pips her to 3rd, but absolutely no shame in that, given how hard she had to dig, steady the ship on the last lap.
Good race, Fiona Scheibel as well. 21st on the start line, so...
More racing to come, but we'll have an award ceremony in between as Simona Spetsna has another...
Simona Spetsna finishes just behind her teammate, or sorry, compatriot, Adela Holubova. And there is Olivia Onesti, home in 12th.
Not a great day in the office for her.
Not a great day, but not awful either. No. In terms of that overall points chase, Kira Baum, though, has taken a lot of points away from this one. We await confirmation of how things are going to stand on the way into Mont Saint Anne. Dauberman crosses the line.
Ella McLean-Howell just crossing the line.
Here we see the highlights then. Holmgren was caught up in some action at the start of the race, then found herself a groove. And you can see there just the difference in climbing speed. Isabella Holmgren victorious in Mount Van Hoevenberg, Lake Placid, New York. That's absolutely stunning landscape, and we can hear from Holmgren now.
Rainbow jersey and a fantastic performance today. How did that feel?
Yeah, first I just want to say I'm sorry to Michelle and her family and friends, and my condolences go to them. But yeah, super tough race today. Really hard course. Yeah, I just went full gas the whole time.
You've had some spectacular performances this year, including your Rainbow Jersey World Championship. How did this feel today, wearing that jersey back in North America as we approach Canada next week?
Yeah, it was super special to wear the jersey today in the race, and yeah, the fans and the crowd was amazing. Lots of Americans, and I think quite a few Canadians came out since we're so close to the border. So yeah, it was really nice to have some really good crowds out today.
A very fast course here today. What was the hardest part about that? You did get a big gap, but how hard was that to maintain?
Yeah, it was super, super tough. There's a really, really long climb for pretty much the entire first half of the course. It just feels like you're going up forever. So yeah, I just tried to keep a hard pace the whole climb, and I made a bit of a gap and then just did my best to hold it the whole race.
Incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
He's not wrong. It was an incredible performance from Isabella Holmgren. Kira Bohm in second place, then Junior Kaluri winning that sprint just ahead of Madigan Monroe. Ella McPhee, Huber, Corvey, Johnston, Schiebler and Holubova rounding out the top 10. Then Spetsna, Onesti, Dauberman, McLean-Howell, Lip, Kilburn, Van Til. Kira Bohm second today for the Cube Factory Racing pilot. Let's hear from her now.
Kira, great ride today, second place, and still in the leader's jersey. How did that feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing.
Native language.
Oh, native language. I'm sorry.
Ready to do it again?
I'm sorry.
I throw it because I'm in English.
Ja.
Kira, second place, series leader overall. How did that feel today?
Ja, es fühlt sich großartig an. Es war richtig hart heute, weil meine Beine richtig schwer waren nach dem Shorttrack gestern. Aber ja, es hat richtig Spaß gemacht, mit den Mädels ein bisschen zu battlen. Und ja, es fühlt sich toll an, dass ich immer noch die Leaderin bin.
Well done today. Congrats.
Thank you.
Kira Bohm then. How's your German, Ollie?
Not so good, Rick.
Right, okay. Yeah, Kira Bohm, she should be happy with that, though.
Yeah, no, quality ride. And again, that's that mental strength. She won yesterday in the short track, so you come back thinking, I might have got this one. And then to be lap 2, Holmgren put on the afterburners, and then mentally you've got to think, well, okay, now I've got to change plan. I'm going to ride for second. And she did obviously a fantastic job of that, leading overall.
The lap comparison graphic then, lap 2, you can see Holmgren did the damage, 11:24. Fastest lap of the race, comfortably the only woman in the 11:20s.
If you look at that fight for second, third, really fast laps at the back end, so that would have hurt.
Yep, second to 7th place, actually. Fastest laps coming on the lap. The final lap of the race, a hard way to do it. Let's hear from Ginya Kaluri after that nail-biting finish.
Ginya, a sprint to the line after an epic battle. How did that feel coming into that final corner?
Yeah, I just believed it until the very last meter, and my coach just told me stay behind, and I know I'm really a bad sprinter, to be honest, but that's the first time I won a sprint, and I'm just so happy also because, yeah, it's not a really easy day or time, because yesterday something really bad happened in Switzerland, and I just raced by my heart. I gave everything for her, and yeah, just tried to do it for her.
Well, congratulations, you did her proud. Well done today.
Thank you, thank you.
Yep, huge performance. Very difficult circumstances for Ginya Kaluri. Referring, of course, to Muriel Führer, who we tragically lost at the UCI Road Cycling World Championships. From everyone here, our thoughts are with her friends and family, but that is how close that sprint finish was.
Quarter of a wheel. Whew.
After a 5-lap race here in Lake Placid.
But a cracking ride, both Kaluri and Munro as well. All the race in that mix for second, third, fourth. And
here we go then. Kira Bohm leads the way by 129 points from Olivia Onesti. Marika Munro up into third. Isabella Holmgren fourth, so she moves up one spot. Then it's Johnson in fifth, Kaluri, Corvey, McPhee, Huber, Holubova. So, all still to play for Olivia Onesti in Mont Saint-Anne next weekend. Ella McLean-Hoyle up there in 11th place as well for the British rider. Fantastic result for her so far in the overall. Schrinska, Hahn, a good start to the year, the German, but stock has faded slightly now, down to 24th. Sophia Waite in 31st. We talk about her battles with some pretty gnarly illnesses she has fought back from since Brazil. Well, it just goes to show you how important those results were for Kira Bohm at the start of the year.
yeah, that consistency, and like I say, she came out absolutely firing, 4 from 4 in the 2 Brazil races. And I say the big thing for her is that mental strength in the middle of the year when Holmgren was coming back and giving her a really hard time, but able to hang in there, picking up the points. And that win yesterday in the short track, that would have given her a lot of confidence and a lot of satisfaction as well.
Definitely.
In third place, please welcome from the Willier Victoria Factory Team XCO, it is Ginya Kaluri.
Ginya Kaluri then heads on to the podium in third place.
As she battled it out with our top
Great race for the young Swiss star. Made that move to Vitoria. Start the season. Kira Bohm. Should be happy with that, Ollie.
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah, have a good weekend. I mean, happy with second today, extending her overall lead. But that win in the short track yesterday, that was a big victory.
We'll give her a lot of confidence heading into Mont Saint Anne next weekend. But one woman who is positively brimming with confidence at the back end of 2024 is this one. Isabella Holmgren, really doing the jersey justice. And it can be a funny one, the race, the World Cup after World Championships, can't it?
Yeah. It's a long season, and especially if Isabella Holmgren, she's got cyclocross in the winter, road commitment, so never quite sure if there's a fatigue that's going to happen, but I think whichever race she turns out for, she's going to be a threat, and not just a talent in U23 mountain bike, but a talent in world cycling, full stop.
Yeah, here's hoping mountain biking can hold on to her. Already on the books of one of the big road teams, Lidl Trek.
But I think Holmgren's going to be one of those kind of riders of a generation, big time.
Yeah. As the champagne corks fly. Just a reminder, don't go anywhere. Under 23 men's UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup on its way to you imminently. Isabella Holmgren victorious here in the US of A. Not quite her biggest winning margin, but certainly within the same conversation. As we wait for the German national champion to be awarded her UCI World Cup overall points leaders jersey. Or should I say a fresh UCI World Cup overall points leaders jersey.
To present the jersey to the German athlete leading the U23 women's overall.
I mean, you can certainly argue, what if Isabella Holmgren was in Brazil, but ultimately she wasn't, and Kira Bohm took the maximum number of points when she wasn't there, and it's been good for that lead as well.
Yeah, really solid year. I think it's always, to win the overall. We see Alessandra Keller in the women's race. Well, it's that consistency week in, week out, and you've got to commit to the series, and we have these multidiscipline stars that will come for the occasional race.
Next race on the 23 cross-country Olympic men's, getting underway at 10 o'clock Central European time. We hope you enjoyed the under 23 women's. Don't go anywhere. One of the most drama-packed races of the weekend is just around the corner, and we will see you for it very soon.
Congrats.